And let's start off on discussing as to how G Suite is helping organizations reimagine their work. And first off, let's just talk about some predictive analysis and proactive analysis that come with G Suite, particularly on the spam, because 99.9% of the spam that actually enters into any organization is filtered out even before landing at the user's mailbox. And there would also be warning banners and proactive notifications for the end user stating that there's a spam coming in or any kind of suspicious activities relating to email. So one of the quick proactive analysis metric that I wanted to showcase. And let's move on to understand further on how G Suite is helping organizations reimagine. Now, we've seen this on the different services that are coming with G Suite. And with the G Suite and the collaboration space, we are not just looking at an email or a doc sheet or a slide. It's not just that. We are looking at a complete suite helping you to have end-to-end communication and collaboration needs of customer environments, which could solve the needs of every user in the organization. So starting from an email, starting from a chat, doc, sheets, slides, there are also a lot of admin capabilities that are available in order to ensure that the admins are aware or ensuring that the data is secure for within the organization. So there are three essential pillars where we are talking about how users can effectively connect among themselves, co-create content, and admins can ensure security within the organization. So we are essentially talking about the three areas where there are multiple services in each space which will serve the end-to-end needs of the communication and collaboration needs of any customer. Now, some of the top innovators that have long relied on G Suite, you see a lot of new age companies, a lot of names that are available, and it's not just them, but there are a lot of established organizations, PwC, Verizon, Airbus, many customers who are now confidently making it with G Suite. And that is where we are looking at customers across segments who are taking the benefit of the communication. Now, how is G Suite helping organizations reimagine? Now, these are the three main pillars. We had this discussion earlier from Yoshiki, and it's essentially about how G Suite is helping things, how organizations can make things faster, make things smarter, and make things together. Let's get into further detail about each of these areas so that we get a deeper understanding. Now, with make things faster, we are looking at users co-creating content, collaborating together. Now, one of a simple metric that I would like to share, we have the Google Docs, Sheets, or the slides. How many of you have seen multiple users co-creating it? In Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides, we can have 100+ users editing the same document at the same time with absolutely no latency and a seamless edit functionality. So that's the collaboration and parallel working that we are talking about, because it's essentially enabling users to never work in silos. Users are co-editing on the same document, and there are never different versions of files that we are talking here. There's never a v1.1, 1.2, 1.3, which you need to save on your laptops, because you're not referring to different versions or working on the wrong versions at any point of time. Everyone would be using the same link to access the content and edit or collate content that they want to. A simple example of making things together, we have a transport roster for a customer. They are managing their complete transport roster on one sheet. All the users put in their cab requests on the same sheet, and the transport team essentially uses the same sheet to allocate cabs for them. And it's a very simple tool, yet a very powerful tool, which will help organizations co-create. Not just that, with the AI functionalities. In the morning, we saw a demonstration of how you could do a smart reply or a smart compose option in order to compose your emails. One quick metric around it, Google has identified that 1 billion characters have been saved from typing within 1 week's time. Now, that's a lot of characters that are being saved when you actually type your emails. That's the smart AI that's actually enabling you to type your emails faster and ensuring things get done better. This is again a quote from one of our customers, Gant. They have actually derived a lot of benefit on after using or moving to G Suite. It was identified that it used to take about a year to plan and open up a new store within Gantt at a new location, because it involves communication and collaboration between the marketing teams, the sales teams, the different inside teams and the field teams in order to work on the inventories and work on the different details that would be required to open up a store. They have brought down the time to open a new store drastically, and the time is as less as just 3 months. That's the level of enhanced productivity that G Suite brings to the table, brings to a customer's organization. Now let's look at the other main area, which is making things faster. Now, G Suite is not just helping AI, we are talking about AI everywhere, and it's not just helping things do smarter for the end users, but we are also looking at the same smart capabilities for the admins as well. It's not just an end user capability, but also an admin capability. I'll show some demos around it, but before that, some of the important aspects is the explore option that we see in docs, sheets, or a slide, where with the explore functionality, you are not required to know any kind of formulas or tables or how to derive any kind of graphical representation out of the data that's there on your sheet. All you need to do is to click on the explore option. There's a natural language processing where you could quickly ask questions in your very simplified English, and you would still get responses to the exact data that you're looking for. The other thing is the search functionality. Search is one of the most powerful tools that Google has, and the search is not just limited to the public Google search, but search is everywhere within G Suite. Be it a sheet that you're opening, be it a doc or a slide, or just your email. All you need to do is search for the details, and it would give you the best, closest responsive answer relating to the content that you're looking for. And as I mentioned about AI, not just for the end users, but also for the admins, let's quickly look at a demo on how we would be able to use the security capabilities of G Suite. So this is my Google G Suite Admin Center. I'm in the security, and I'm opening up the dashboard. So this is a security dashboard, which is helping us with a lot of details and insights into an organization's security posture. So on a single click or at a simple view, you're able to see how is the file sharing happening within your organization. How is the external file sharing, which is the most essential area for any kind of threat or any kind of information leakage. Not just that, there are a lot of dashboards relating to how is the spam, how is the message delivery, what type of spam classification are we looking at? Is it phishing? Is it malware? So all these dashboards are directly available through your security center. There are also a lot of areas like a compromised device, events, or suspicious activities, or even suspicious login. Let's suppose Sujata is signing in from Singapore now, and there's the same login that's happening from probably a location like Dubai. It immediately identifies that there is a suspicious login activity with this identity. And there's an alert that comes in, not just in the dashboard, but an email comes in for the admin as well. There's also another interesting area, particularly on the devices, that I usually joke about, that my husband may not be knowing that I've purchased a new device, but Google definitely knows, because it identifies that I have a login from a new device anytime. And that's the kind of analytics that we are looking at from a device login or an email access standpoint. So there are multiple dashboards pre-built on how the user is logging in or any kind of challenges that are happening, which will help alert the admins and in order to take necessary actions to secure the environment. Now, it just doesn't end at the dashboard. There are a lot of security rules that you can configure, security health settings, which showcase as to how are the settings in your organization. Now, it would recommend what would be the best setting to do for your environment to improve the security posture. One quick recommendation for any of the G Suite customers here, there is a security pre-built check that you can do. There's a checklist that's available. You could just Google it out as G Suite security checklist. And I recommend all the existing customers to follow that to ensure that you are having the right security settings relating to your environment. Because security is not just about email security, because most organizations invest on third-party gateways or email gateway solutions just to secure their email environment. But security just doesn't end at your email. In fact, it starts at your email. There are so many areas outside of email, be it a drive, as to how the users are sharing files. Because sharing files is the way users share files from an email is long gone. Users can now share files anyway, directly from their drive. They could share folders. They could share a complete drive content. Because all these areas are the sensitive ones which would actually prevent the data leakage happening from organizations. So these are the areas to focus. And with G Suite security capabilities, you would be able to take care of any kind of security threat happening outside of your email as well, be it from any device, a user login, be it from a drive, as to how the data is being shared. So this way, with the security health, security alerts, and security dashboard, and all the smart capabilities coming with the security space, it's actually enhancing organizations to improve the security posture. Let's switch back to the slides. Yeah, moving on. Another comment by one of our customer, Colgate-Palmolive, on the smart capabilities that are coming with the sheet. With the help of Explore functionality, they are just able to retrieve answers to simple questions that they are asking to a sheet. And they're deriving a lot of benefits out of it. Let's move further from the make it fast and make it smart. And the area is make it together. With G Suite, we are ensuring users can adopt new ways and do things together. When we say do things together, I've always mentioned about G Suite helping users to never work in silos. There are never versions. There's never a time when a single user has to collate content from different users. We saw a demo earlier on how Forms is helping collate information. There are also the single link of a doc or a sheet or a slide where multiple users can co-create. And it's not just ending there, but with the Hangout and the Meet, multiple users can get on a call at the same time and finish the collaboration or finish what needs to be discussed. And while the meeting is going on, you could also feel free to Jamboard the session, whiteboard it. Ensure that you're putting in the necessary thoughts that you have and making your ideas heard. That's one of the prime areas about ensuring that the end user's voice is being heard in an organization. Gives a lot of emphasis to the fact that I feel wanted. it would be really nice in an organization to have your voices being heard. One simple example I would want to talk about here in making things together, a customer of mine, they're using simple app scripts and the Google tools, the sheets and functionalities, with a simple kudos message that they would want to share to a user who they want to thank. This is also widely prevalent in Google environment, where anyone we want to thank, you could simply do a kudos. And if you want any improvement areas of that other user, you could also send messages to them so that improvement area is known only to the user. But if there's a kudos, it's not just the user, but the manager is also heard. That way, it's greatly improving the end user morale within the organization, and all of this by using the app scripts and app maker to bring in simple workflows within the organization. There's also another customer of ours, Salesforce, who have widely adopted G Suite within the organization, and they are ensuring collaboration real time while ensuring that it's happening in a highly secure environment. And they're extremely happy with the way the communication is happening within the organization and how they are able to collaborate together. Some of the additional metrics, just to help you understand the scale of security that G Suite brings to the table for your customer premises. Many of you know security is at the very heart of everything Google does. Your data is belonging to you. Google has no right on your data. And about the scale of the security posture that we bring in, we defend over 1 billion user accounts who use email on a day-to-day basis. And with the scale, it's actually helped us build a lot of AI behind the screens, so that we are able to restrict a lot of spam coming into the end user's mailbox. Some metrics around it, we are able to stop over 10 million spam messages of email every minute. So that's the scale of spam filter that Google is ensuring your mailboxes are secure. Not just that, we scan over 600,000 web pages every minute for malicious content. And there are millions of devices that we manage on a day-to-day basis. Again, a quick demo on some of the new functionalities in the security space, particularly on how admins can ensure how users are accessing their environment. This is a Google Cloud Admin Center again. We are quickly getting into settings of security. One important functionality that is released recently is something called the context-aware access. One of the prime areas that G Suite enhances from the collaboration standpoint is users can collaborate or connect from any device and any network, wherever I am, whether I'm sitting in a coffee shop or at my office, or whether I'm signing in from home. But there are also security risks that come in along with it, which organizations would want to restrict. And that is where context-aware access is helping organizations ensure the right users are able to access the content. Let me create a simple policy. So I am ensuring that users are able to connect only from my office premises. In every organization, there will always be certain teams which need to handle sensitive information only from certain networks. That is where context-aware access, the IP-based policies, are helping users only to connect from office networks, or the certain public IP ranges that you want them to connect with. It just doesn't end at the IP, but there are also device policies that we can enforce so that users are connecting only from the company-approved devices, and not just from any device, not just from a public, maybe a public device at an airport or a BYOD. We are not allowing users to sign in just from any and every device, but we want them to connect from company-provided devices which have the pre-built security settings set. So that's the importance that context-aware access brings in when users are accessing G Suite services. Some interesting details about context-aware. As of today, we are able to use these policies to restrict access to G Suite services, that is your email, Drive, Calendar, the other G Suite services. But this is getting extended to your 2P and 3P applications as well. A very, very important setting, because you're not just restricting users to access email from different devices, but you're also restricting users to connect to your internal office content, maybe your intranet site, maybe your payroll site, from being accessed from public laptops or public devices or public networks. All this control from one single pane, which is the G Suite Admin Center. It's not just the access levels, but I also want to ensure that G Suite is also bringing in all of the SAML functionality that you'd be able to get single sign-on for all of your internal apps which are supporting SAML or OpenID Connect to have the authorization done on Google Identity. All this to reduce dependency on the availability of your Active Directory domain controller. So there are multiple predefined apps that are already available, mostly the SaaS apps, but this is getting extended. You could also create custom apps here and add them to get single sign-on for all those apps through Google Identity. This is just a sample of the predefined apps, but you could always create custom inbuilt apps, your internal applications, which you can define here. Two simple configurations that you need to do: one URL and one certificate update on your application. That is it. And application can get single sign-on through G Suite. It's not just ending at SAML or OpenID Connect applications, but there would be password vaulted applications. Many applications have their own database with usernames and passwords just to log in, so that users actually sign in with one credential to the laptop, one credential to one application, another credential to G Suite. So you don't need all of it. You're using one single credential to sign into all the applications that are there in your environment, using the SAML and secure LDAP functionalities of G Suite. We'll switch to the slides once again. So building trust through transparency. So another prime focus area here is to maintain trust with customers. And with G Suite, we are ensuring that there is complete trust through transparency, because through the access transparency functionality, admins will be clearly able to know which information Google is accessing belonging to your environment whenever there's any support request or a need to investigate. Otherwise, customer owns their data, and there's never a time Google actually accesses any kind of information belonging to your infrastructure. So some of our commitments. Who owns your data? The customer owns the data. Google never owns the data. We just ensure that the right controls are in place from the physical and the application layers to ensure security to your data. There's never a time your information is used for any kind of ads or advertising needs. It is always the customer's control on the data. Google data centers are completely audited against different compliance needs. I was getting some requests even this morning if G Suite data centers are compliant with NIST or different protocols. Yes, there are multiple certifications that are audited on a regular basis to ensure G Suite is complying with all the necessary regulatory standards. Google never sells information to third parties, and there's never a backdoor access given to government organizations under whatsoever pressure. Another important point about encryption is there's always an end-to-end encryption that is ensured by Google, right from while the data is in transit or while the data is at rest in the Google data centers. So why go Google? Why should even customers choose G Suite? So with G Suite, we are not just promising seamless collaboration within the organization, but we are bringing in the powerful search functionality within the organizations to search out any information, be it your email, drive, any kind of, even a chat, a simple chat that you want to search out, you'll still be able to use G Suite search or the Google search in order to pull that out. And it is essentially helping users not to recreate content that's already available, but to use the information that has already been created. Along with all of the collaboration benefits and the search functionalities, we are also bringing in the proactive security for organizations to ensure there's end-to-end security for your data. One of the immediate metric an organization would see as soon as they move to G Suite, the reduction in the spam. Most of you must have been aware that Google has acquired Postini many, many years ago, after which there was never looking back on the spam posture. Because we are bringing in the extremely strong spam filter to customer organizations to ensure any kind of spam that's coming in is actually filtered out. Link filtering is one of our prime areas because if you're aware, G Suite essentially works on links. There's never a thick client that the users would be using. And any link that is coming into the environment is pre-scanned through multiple layers to ensure there is absolutely no spam coming in through links. Another very simple metric, particularly on the security, is it's been observed that 8 of the 11 attacks in the year 2018-2019 have actually happened through thick clients that the users are using. Simple EXEs, simple Microsoft Office OneNote. So it's been identified that a lot of ransomware attacks or malware attacks actually happen through these EXEs and installables that are there on the user's devices. It's a very conscious decision from Google's side to use the web-based interface for accessing any kind of docs, sheets, or even your email. So another reason why G Suite becomes extremely easy to adopt is that most users are already familiar with the consumer solutions of G Suite, with the Gmail, the Hangout, the Meet. So it's been observed that in 76% of time, docs, sheets, and slides are mainly used for collaboration work, not for working in silos. 76% of the time, these are mainly used by multiple users at the same time. So that's the kind of adoption that G Suite brings to organizations. There are multiple customers. It's been an ongoing, repeatable task that Google brings in order to ensure success during migration. We've had customers who could confidently make it to my G Suite, and there are also multiple areas where you could still migrate at your own pace while ensuring seamless interoperability. Some of the major areas of interoperability that we see while users are migrating to G Suite is there's always a phase where users are on the legacy system for email, and they're also migrating to G Suite. So at the time of migration, there's a seamless interop from the calendar standpoint that I'll be able to see the FreeBusy information of an Exchange user and vice versa. So there's a complete interop, again, not just from calendar standpoint, but Office standpoint. I receive a Microsoft Excel sheet, I double-click it, I seamlessly open it as a Google Sheet, edit it, and send it back as an Excel sheet All of this while I don't have Microsoft Office deployed on my laptop. That's the level of seamless collaboration that we are looking at, and it is ensuring you could confidently bring in other formats of documents, edit them, and send it back in the original format. There are also seamless integrations with different business services. Again, it's not just the MS Office integration that we are talking about, but there are also seamless integrations with Salesforce and SAP. How many of you are aware that SAP data can directly be exported in the form of a Google Sheet? So, thank you for that. Any information that's there on your SAP systems can directly be exported as a Google Sheet. You could edit it, and you could also derive graphical representations out of the data that's available in your SAP. All of this while using the Explore options or functionalities that are inbuilt in our sheets, docs, or slides. Not just that, there are also integrations with Salesforce that would ensure that you'll be able to handle customer data effectively. Again, if there's a box, you would be able to save Google formats of information on the user's box as well. So again, there was a Forrester survey, Forrester analysis that was done on G Suite as to how is it ensuring or adding value to an organization. And it's not just the employee efficiency that we are focusing on, but there's also a lot of added value on the IT cost savings, the revenue growth, and the risk mitigation that we are bringing in. It's been observed that a complete man-month gets saved in an organization after using G Suite. Very simple details like the Smart Compose options that are on your email, helping you save a lot of time while you are drafting an email. Another very simple thing about there's never a Control S that you would do on a document. There's never a worry that your document would get corrupt or you're not saving your document, because every character that you type on a Google Doc is auto-saved. So little things with the Google search, we are ensuring that you are not recreating content right from scratch every time, but you are ensuring you're using information that's already available within the organization. So this way, G Suite is actually adding value for customer environments and increasing the benefits and driving ROI out of it. So thank you so much. This way, with G Suite, make things fast, make things smart, and make things together. Thank you.